Welcome back, everyone, to Warhammer Weekend Times. I'm your host, Stan, and I'm back. I've got some cool replays for you guys. It has been quite a while since I've released a video, but I'm back with some pretty cool Warhammer action. Today, I've got a 2v2v1 that's been sent in by Spyfly123. He's going to be playing as Kislev, and his ally is going to be Richard, playing as the Darkelves. They're going to be up against Tom Doof, who's playing as the Night Goblins, and his ally Gojira playing as the Orcs and Goblins. And then way over here on his own, we have Consul of Micronesia playing as the Highelves. And since he's on his own, he has a much larger funds pool. He is going to be playing at 80,000 funds, which is more than twice what we typically play at. Usually we play anywhere between 30,000 to 35,000 per player per game. Excuse me. Or at least in just kind of conventional field battles. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and go over the army compositions. Consul of Micronesia has 15 Lore Masters of Hoeth. These guys have a really powerful single-target magic attack. They also have several units, or I'm sorry, guys, they have several points of HP. I believe they have about 3 HP per unit. Over here we have some High Elf Mages as well, and in the back he has a unit of High Elf Spears. So that's going to be it. 15 Lore Masters, a High Elf Mage unit, and a High Elf Spear unit is going to be it for Consul of Micronesia's army. Over here for Gojira's army, he has a long line of Orc Boys in front, about 2 units of these. He's also got about 4 units of Orc Biggins. He's got a Doomdiver Catapult, a Rock Lava. He's got 2 units of Black Orcs, and then a unit of Black Orc Bodyguard. In the back, he's got some range units. He's got a couple units, or actually just 1 unit of Goblin Archers, some Ruglug Armored Orcs. He's got several units of Orc Boar Biggins and regular Orc Boar Boys. And I believe he's also got a unit of Night Goblin Squig Herd over here. For Tom's army, he's got 4 units of Night Goblin Archers. He's also got some Squig Hopper Bodyguard, a couple units of Nasty Skulkers, which do have armor piercing, and in the back he's got about 4 units of Goblin Spears. He's also got a huge, vast herd of Squigs. He's got 4 units of Squig Hoppers, a unit of Colossal Squigs, 2 units of Night Goblin Squig Herd, and then a unit of Giants. So this is a huge cav force for the Night Goblins. Usually Squigs are pretty good at taking out other cavalry, and since a lot of these Squig Herds are actually classified as elephants, a lot of the time they'll have an AoE attack or a really kind of a wide charge. Way over here for Spyfly's army, for his cav force, he has several units of Mounted Militia, about 2 units of these. He's got a unit of Zargard, and then he's also got 2 units of Sons of Ursun. He's got a couple units of Kislev Halberdiers. He's got 2 over here. I believe he's got about 3 units of Kreml Guard, 1 unit of Kreml Guard Bodyguard. He's also got another 2 units of Kislev Halberdiers over here, 2 units of Streltsky, and then a unit of Ice Mages. Over here for Richard's army, he's got 2 units of Dread Spears that he's bringing. He's bringing about 4 units of Bleak Swords, 4 units of Dark Shards, a unit of Harganeth Executioners. I believe he's also got a few Pike units in the back. He's got some Blackguard of Nagaron, Bodyguard, and then a regular unit of Blackguard of Nagaron. And then way over here, he's got his cav force. He's got, and here's his general actually right here. Look at that Dark Elf general. My God, Medieval 2 looks good, even as old as it is. He's got some veteran Cold One Knights. He's got 2 units of regular Cold One Knights, and I think that's going to be his whole army. Okay, guys, that's pretty much going to be it for the army compositions. Let's go ahead and go full speed now. We're going to watch Consul and Gojira go at it pretty early on. You can see those High Elf Mages firing in. They do have a piercing shot to their magic attack or to their projectile. I see these Lore Masters just firing in here. See all those little blue shots coming in, doing a bunch of damage to these Orc Biggins. And even though these Orc Biggins do have multiple HP, this is just gonna just really devastate these Orc Biggin units. See these Lore Masters firing away. You see kind of the screen shake from them firing in with their missiles. Seems like Gojira's right flank is really having some issues marching up. As they march up, they kind of want to seem to kind of reformat their formation. Highelves spears are going to charge up and kind of block some of these orcs coming in, but then the orcs on the left flank are going to get pretty close into these Lore Masters of Hoeth, and looks like they're going to probably make contact right about right here. These orc biggins are going to start charging in finally. It's going to be multiple HP units against multiple HP units, and we're going to see how well they fare against these orc biggins and these orc boys. We can see the Lore Masters of Hoeth over here just absolutely, completely disintegrated. Excuse me, guys. Gojira's right flank as he moved up. Now, Gojira hasn't moved up all of his forces. I think he just moved up his orc boys and his biggins, and he's kind of left the rest of his force to kind of hang out with Tom. You can see over here in the back, though, Richard is beginning to move up. The High Elf mages are trying to slip away from these orc boys. These guys, yeah, they're gonna break as soon as they get through. But it looks like these cold ones have a beautiful angle to charge in onto these High Elf mages, and they're gonna get a flanking charge as mages are gonna just change position as they come in. And looks like a couple of those veteran Cold One Knights are gonna get taken out, but they are going to start moving in. If these guys can get involved in melee against these Lore Masters, they can keep them from firing that magical projectile. Gojira's Orc Boar boys are, Orc Boar biggins are beginning to flank around here. Now, Richard and Gojira are actually on opposite teams, but they're kind of helping each other out. They're trying to take out Consul's just monstrous Lore Master army. I see Lore Masters just cutting through some of these veteran Cold One Knights. It's taking a little while. The veteran Cold One Knights also have multiple HP. You're seeing a lot of multi-HP units get utilized here. Really good rear charge coming in from Richard, and here comes another charge with the Orc Boar biggins from Gojira. Going to kill some more of these Lore Masters of Hoeth, and they're going to go down there. Still about 12 in that unit. I think he starts off with about 17 in a unit. Comes another good charge from these Cold One Knights into the rears of these Lore Masters, and they're going to go down there. Lots of Lore Masters are going to die in that unit. They're actually going to be shaken, and it looks like some more Cold One Knights are going to kind of pull away here. You have some more of Gojira's units moving in. The Orc Boys kind of coming in, trying to keep these Lore Masters from firing their projectiles. Veteran Cold One Knights are kind of getting kind of far out, and so are these other ones, but it looks like they're going to come in for a really nice pincer maneuver right here. These Lore Masters right in the middle between these two Cold Ones are going to be a really prime target. These Cold One Knights are getting in position. The veteran Cold One Knights are already charging, and here they go. Really good pincer formation here, and that's going to take out most of what was left of those Lore Masters. And it really looks like Consul's army is beginning to kind of disintegrate away, definitely at some cost to the Orcs and Goblins, and some cost to Richard's army as well. Way over here, Tom Doof's army is moving into position against Spyfly. His Kreml Guard ready to brace against these Night Goblins who are going to charge in. Some of the Rock Lobbers coming in, knocking some of these Kreml Guard bodyguard to the ground, and then some more Night Goblin Spears are going to charge in as well. Now, I've noticed with Medieval 2, some units, unless they have like a specific target, they'll kind of, half of them will charge in, and the rest of the half will kind of sit in reserve like that. You really don't want that. You want your formation to be as tight as possible when you're fighting mostly melee units. Now, Tom does need to be kind of careful against these Ice Mages. They're firing over in the distance. You can see over there, way over here, the Night Goblin Archers are taking quite a bit of damage. But if he could redirect some of those shots towards the front line, he could definitely kill a lot of Night Goblins in a single shot. Sons of Ursun are moving up, but consequently, so is Tom Doof with his large squig, just mass, and here they come. I see some of those ice shards coming in from the Ice Mages, but Night Goblin, Squig Herd, and the Squig Hoppers are all going to charge in against these Sons of Ursun. The Giants are going to be really integral in here. Their wide swings and their position right here is going to do just a massive amount of damage to these Sons of Ursun. Look how many bears are already dead. Excuse me, guys. Sons of Ursun are already routing right here. 20 in the unit, and they're already routing. This other unit is wavering. It looks like Gojira is moving up as well with some of his Orc Boar boys. They're going to charge into these mounted militia. They're going to kill a few of them. Spy did have this mounted militia in a pretty good position, kind of firing in at those squigs, but it's kind of backfired against him. All these Sargard and Sons of Ursun are really having a hard time. The Sons of Ursun are pretty much completely gone at this point. Only 3 left in this unit, and then 12 left in this other unit that's routing. And the Night Goblin's Squig Herd is just moving. Look at this huge, just patch of squigs led by some giants, and there's definitely some more colossal squigs over there. So you have these 2 basically giant AoE units that have a ton of HP. Some of the Kislevite halberdiers moving into position. They're going to get shot up a little bit by Spy's own ice mages, and that's going to cause them to waver. One more shot coming in is going to kill 2 of the Kislevite halberdiers, but that's going to be just enough to rout those halberdiers. But that's actually going to cause all these Night Goblins to mass up together and take a nasty volley from those ice mages. Look at all these dead Night Goblin squigs. Just that probably thinned out half of that entire mass of Night Goblins. Some Squig Hoppers still over here. Looks like they're going to be trying to push through. They're going to get behind the lines and start charging down through here, and that's going to be really bad because if Spyfly wants to maintain any use of his mages, that's gonna completely screw that up. He's gonna lose his mages right there. Looks like some of the giants are charging in to the back as well, as these Sons of Ursun did come back, but it's gonna be to no avail as the Night Goblin Squig Herd are gonna be just chewing through them. The Streltsky are involved in melee. One Streltsky unit is free over here, and they can do a little bit of damage, but he's got to get these Night Goblin Squig Herds and these Squig Hoppers out from behind his main line, because if they just start doing cycle charges against these Kreml Guard, it's not gonna be good. It's gonna go very poorly for Spyfly. The Giants are still alive. Both are moving into position here, beginning to wail on these Kreml Guard, and this is really bad for Spy. His left flank is beginning to kind of curl up a little bit. Kreml Guard over in the center line are beginning to shake, and it looks like those Colossal Squigs, just their presence is going to cause those Kreml Guard to rout. One of the Colossal Squigs is going to get picked off there by the Streltsky, but the Streltsky are going to get just completely mowed down by these Night Goblin Squig Herd, and that's going to be really nasty. Let's go slow motion just for a second, guys, so we can see exactly what's going on the other side of the battlefield. Spyfly is beginning to kind of have his line curled up a little bit over here. If we move over, we can see that Richard has a lot of his Dark Shards in position. They're kind of spread out, and I think he's just trying to take out what is left of Gojira's invested units up here. Gojira and Console kind of burnt out a lot of their own units together. Looks like Richard has lost a lot of his Cold One Knights, and he's taking a lot of friendly fire there. He's going to lose it. Looks like Console has one unit of decently healthy Lore Masters, but it's just not going to be enough against all of these Dark Shards, and it really looks like Gojira has begun to kind of press into Tom's line. It looks like they're going to kind of fight this fight together as Tom Doof is beginning to win his engagement over here. Spy really doesn't have anything left. All he's got really left are these Kreml Guard, and that's pretty much it. These Squig Hoppers are going to come in for a nice rear charge here. Oh no, that Colossal Squig's actually going to kind of mess it up just a little bit. The Giants are going to come in, and that's going to be it for the Kreml Guard. They're going to rout between all of those units coming in. I may have mentioned earlier that Squig Herd and Colossal Squig act as elephant units, so they're very similar to the way that chariots work. They have a very wide charge, they can kind of trample units, and they typically have a pretty effective AoE attack. Gojira's got some of his Night Goblin Squig Herd actually invested over here to help Tom Doof out with this engagement. It looks like Richard is kind of forming a really long line with his Bleak Swords, but here come the Night Goblin Squig Herds, and you're going to kind of see what I talked about earlier with that kind of wide charge. Here they go. They're just going to smash through a lot of these Bleak Swords. These guys are going to go from a fairly healthy unit almost down to half in a single charge from these Night Goblin Squig Herds. The Squig Herds are going to take some casualties. You're going to see them start to fall, but they definitely did a lot of damage to this unit over here. Looks like Spy has a couple of Streltskys still left, but those are going to be pursued, I think, by some of these kind of lighter cav that Tom Doof has. But like I said, Richard's line's kind of spread out here. He still has some of his Black Art of Nagarond and Black Art of Nagaron bodyguard in the back, and those will be really useful for taking out these Giants and these Squig Herd if he can prevent them from getting too focused down, and if he can get them in a really advantageous position where they start getting flanking shots onto the Giants. But Tom's really starting to move his units over here, and it looks like Richard's starting to kind of spread out his units. He's got his Dark Shards over here, a lot of his ranged units away from his melee units, and I'm not quite sure if this is the best strategy, but if he can pull this off, it'll allow him to kind of circle and then push with his Dark Shards through some of these more kind of concentric units over here. He does have some Dread Spears and, two of his Dread Spears over here, and you can see what I was talking about concentric is how these Black Orcs are kind of curving around the unit. He could take advantage of that, fire in with his Dark Shards. You're going to see a ton of shots coming over, and they're actually going to be shooting at the Rock Lava. That is a surprise to me, for him to actually invest a lot of this ammo into this Rock Lava. He's not going to do any damage to the actual artillery unit itself. He's only going to pick off a few goblins, and I think if he fired only 1 or 2 volleys into these Black Orcs, he could probably do a lot of damage. Dark Shards are one of the only crossbow units in the game that retain their armor piercing. Beginning of the end times have actually changed the way that bow, gun, and crossbow balance work in Medieval 2. Usually crossbows have some degree of armor piercing, but the only the only crossbows that have that are the Dark Shards. But they kind of trade it for some damage. I think they have a damage of 5. Most crossbows have a damage between 7 to 8. Looks like another shot coming in from the rock lava. Going to take out some of these Dark Shards. I think he's run out of ammo with these 2 units, or maybe all 3 of these units. It looks like he's got ammo with 1 unit left over here. Usually the way you tell is by whether or not they pull out their swords. And I think he's going to start sending these guys over here to do a little bit of damage. If you can get a rear charge on these Black Orcs, he might actually get a few casualties. Here he goes. Lots of Dark Shards going to be charging in. He's going to have 79 fresh melee faces coming in here to be fighting against these Black Orcs. Looks like there's a unit of Orc Boys that are going to be spooked by some of these incoming Dark Shards. And this Black Orc bodyguard unit as well is doing a pretty good job at bolstering some of the morale of these other units. Usually Black Orcs don't need it, but Black Orcs and Black Orc Bodyguard do have an Inspire Nearby Troop mechanic, so they can actually prevent other units from routing. So you have a large amount of Goblins, which Gojira really doesn't have. You know, it should help them a lot, but it should also help those Orc Boys from routing as easily. The Dark Shards are going to continue to support the Dread Spears in melee, and it really looks like they're winning this engagement. The Black Orcs says defeat seems certain, only 24 left in this unit. It's really not going well for Gojira over on this side. It looks like he's going to lose the last bit of his cav over to some of these Dark Shards. It looks like these Dark Shards do have some ammunition left, so he does have a potential to do a lot of damage. Gojira does have some of his own armored piercing unit. Actually, no, I don't think Redlow armored orcs are armored piercing. He has some armored orcs over here that do have some crossbow capability, but Redlow armored orcs do not at all have the same fire rate that Dark Shards have. We'll just sit here and watch. We'll see. Here's one fire rate, or one shot. We see a few arrows trailing in. I think those are from the Goblin Archers. Another shot coming in from the Dark Shards. Here's another shot coming in. I mean, these are just rapid fire. And just do a ton of damage, especially to heavily armored units. And they just do an amazing job, especially against like giants or colossal squigs and the like. Speaking of which, the colossal squig and the giant have been felled over here by the bleak swords. And I think that there are still a few Blackguard of Nagron that are beginning to move over against some of these Night Goblin Archers. The Night Goblin Archers, they don't have a lot of damage. They do have a lot of numbers, though, and there's not a lot of these Blackguard left. Only 11 Blackguard of Nagron in this unit. And look at all these arrows coming in. That's actually, that volley right there is going to kill really kind of an uncomfortable amount of Blackguard for Richard. They're going to charge in here, going to kill a few of these Night Goblins. Night Goblins are shaken, and some more Blackguard of Nagron Bodyguard are going to be engaged over here. And they should make pretty short work of these Night Goblins. These other Night Goblin Archers are routing against these Bleak Swords. Bleak Swords do... Oh, man, look at this guy. He's a freak of nature. Look how tall he is. Yeah, look at that. What a weirdo. Anyway, that can happen when you have a shorter unit that gets a kill animation, or a taller unit that gets a kill animation on a shorter unit. A lot of the time that unit that is dying will get all stretched out. You can sometimes see it with like Kroxigors against Empire units. I've not seen it like against a Kroxigor against a Dwarf or a Goblin, which would be really interesting to see a Dwarf get or a Goblin get just stretched the size of a Kroxigor. So the Black Orc Bodyguard is pretty much whittled down to just the General. This is going to be Gojira's General here. If he loses his General, that is going to be really bad for the Orcs and Goblins, as they are not a faction that particularly has really high morale. They do have amazing infantry, but as soon as their General dies, they usually have a really difficult time staying in the fight. It looks like some more shots from the Lore Masters of Hoeth coming in. Looks like Consul was able to hold on to just a few units, I guess, as Richard and Gojira began to quarrel with one another. And it looks like those Dark Shards are going to rout there. Looks like Consul is going to be firing at them, but it looks like he's also firing at some of the Orcs, so I really don't know. I've never seen a unit fire at two units like that, unless it was just, you know, like a misfire, or, you know, they didn't intend to hit that target, but something else got in their way. I've never seen them actively shoot at 2 different targets moving in 2 different directions. We got an Orc Boar Boy being all brave, trying to charge in against these Lore Masters, but he's gonna get scalded right as he gets in for his time to shine. But the Lore Masters have actually done a pretty decent amount of damage over here. It looks like they're also going to be firing into the flanks of these Black Orcs. Things are really not looking too good for Richard. The balance of power bar is 3/4 in favor of the Greenskin team. I don't think there's really much for Tom Deuce's army either. I think there might be a few. There's some Squig Archers or Night Goblin Archers that are Squig Archers. Some Night Goblin Archers that are routing. He's got some Night Goblin Archers over here that are going to be routing soon as they get just chopped down by these Blackguard of Nagron. Oh wow, yeah, they routed quick. They went from shaken to routing very fast, and they are going to be routed off the field. 24 left in the unit, probably not going to come back. See a large amount, not really a large amount of units, but a decent amount of units over here that are routing off the field. Some shots coming through from the Rock Lob are going to do a little bit of friendly fire damage over here to his own units. The Black Orcs and the Goblins take a little bit of a few casualties, but if they can get some good shots in here, just directly through here, they can almost destroy this whole Bleak Sword unit, and it's only going to take 1 or 2 artillery shots to do that. Over here, it looks like Richard is trying to push his Dread Spears in against Tom Deuce, his Rock Lava, and then over here we still have some Orc Crossbowmen moving up. I think they're trying to get in a better position to start firing at some of these other units. But the Blackguard of Nagron are actually going to come in and flank some of these Ruglug Armored Orcs, and that's going to be pretty bad for them if these Blackguard can stay in a tight formation like this, and the Ruglug Armored Orcs aren't able to get back on their crossbows. They're going to get kind of whittled down. Some really, really integral shots coming in here from, excuse me, guys, Gojira's. Excuse me, I know you guys missed the burps as much as I did. As Gojira's Rock Lava is going to actually rout this Dread Spear unit, and the single Black Orc bodyguard is still alive. There we go, Grimgor Ironhide himself moving around, being a legend. But the Blackguard of Nagron is still doing some damage. I think they've only lost one Blackguard since they've engaged against these Ruglud Armored Orcs. The Dread Spears are routing. That's kind of a lot of Dread Spears to be losing this late in the game. 26 could definitely turn things around. These Bleak Swords over here are fighting. It looks like one of them... No, these units are still fighting over here, but they're just kind of formed in a funny line. Gojira still has some Goblin Archers, but this is pretty much it, folks. Like, everything in this circle is pretty much all that's left on the battlefield. Zoom in just a little bit over here on the battle map, or on the mini-map. But the Goblin Archers are going to get some flanking shots into the Bleak Swords. Now these guys are going to be beginning to move over here. Should not take long for these Bleak Swords to rout these Goblins, and it looks like the last of these Black Orcs are going to get routed as well, as they can move off the field. Console still has a few Lore Masters 5, which this late in the game really is going to make a difference. They do enough damage per shot to pretty much pick off these single HP units without too much difficulty. Looks like the Rock Lavas have begun to shift their attention over to the Lore Masters, and I think the Lore Masters are trying to move over here, maybe behind these other Rock Lavas, and avoid getting shot. It looks like the Ruglug Armored Orcs are also trying to get some good shots in against them as well. And here we go, the crossbows are going to be firing in, and yeah, they're going to be doing a little bit of damage to them, but they're going to get behind the Rock Lava in time and avoid getting hit by that artillery. Now the Dread Spears are moving up. They're shaking. Oh no, they were shaken, but now they're steady. But they are exhausted, so it won't take much to cause them to break. But man, I do love the Dread Spears. They look amazing with the armor upgrades. Without them, they look a little plain. They have kind of the Harganeth Executioner armor, or the the Dark Shard armor. But armor upgrade, they have that beautiful, just like kind of ashy color, purple gold combination. But Richard's going to move in against Gojira's Rock Lava, and that's going to cause them to shake. Looks like there's only 6 left over here, and the Bleak Swords have really begun to move in. They're doing tons of damage against these Ruglug Armored Orcs. They're in a position that's usually when you're surrounded, especially by like units like totally just had a brain fart, guys. I'm sorry. Especially when you have units like like Harganeth Executions. I can't even think. Halberd units usually do really well if they can surround a unit, just because they can stun lock units so quickly. We've done some tests where whichever Halberd unit pretty much envelops the other usually wins, especially if they are just Black Guard of Nagrand, and they're pretty similar in stats. I think the only difference is one inspires nearby troops, while the other one is unbreakable. I'm pretty sure it's the Phoenix Guard that's unbreakable, and the Black Guard of Nagrand is the one that can inspire the other, Dark Elf units. Bleak Swords are going to be charging in, however, into these Lore Masters of Hoest. I think this is it, guys. There's not much left. There's a few of these Goblin Archers still left alive. They're going to be firing against some of these Bleak Swords that are routing. The Orcish General is still alive after all of this fighting, after taking on units of like 20 dudes all at once. He's still alive and kicking. These Bleak Swords are beginning to shake, and they're exhausted. He needs to take out these Orcish units. This is a really close free-for-all, guys. There's just everybody's down to the wire. It's pretty much any guy's game. I don't know if Consul's going to be able to pull it off with only 2 Lore Masters, unless he has ammo left, and even then, he's going to really need to get some distance and to be able to do a lot of damage to some of these units. If he can break some units, that's going to be even better. There's not a lot he has to break. These Bleak Swords are really getting worn down. This Orcish General's over here fighting with the Ruglug Armored Orcs. This might be Ruglug himself. I'm really not sure. The one with the little horn helmet. He's going to get knocked over by some of these Bleak Swords. Some of the Goblin Archers are going to begin to move in. I think these guys still have ammo. They have their bows out. Yeah, his Lore Masters do still have ammo over here. Consul's going to be starting to fire in with them. He's going to do a little bit of damage to the Rock Lava, it looks like. It looks like he's also going to do some damage to these Bleak Swords. They're shaken. Oh, man, this is not good for Richard. He does not have a lot left. They're wavering now. He's only going to take a few more deaths, and it should rout that unit over there. The Lore Masters are doing quite a bit of damage. Look at these Goblin Archers are firing into Lore Masters to try and take them out. These Goblins are exhausted. They shouldn't be in for very long either. The Black Orc Bodyguard General is still going. Oh, and he goes down right there. That's going to be Gojira's General, and that's going to cause his Goblin Archers to rout right there, along with the Rock Lava. That's actually Tom Deuce Rock Lava. I guess he just had enough. There's only 1 Goblin left in that unit, and now these Bleak Swords are going to begin to push up. There's only 7 Bleak Swords against 2 Lore Masters, and this is going to be close. This is really going to be it, guys. This is all they really have left on the field. Actually, I take that back. It looks like Richard has some Dread Spears over here that are fighting against some Doomdiver Catapults. But anyway, guys, these Lore Masters are fighting against these Bleak Swords. It'd be very interesting to see if he's going to be able to kill these Bleak Swords. They're shaken. They're exhausted. There's only 5 left in the unit. They're getting closer. They're getting closer to the charge. Okay, and then here's another volley from the Lore Masters. They're going to take out one more of those Bleak Swords. There's only like 3 or 4, 4 left in the unit. Now there's only 3 left in the unit. It's just going to be a couple of Bleak Swords against these Lore Masters of Hoeth. Here comes a charge. It's going to take out one of those Lore Masters, and the other one's going to go down to a really nice kill animation by that Bleak Sword. And that's going to be it for that Lore Master of Hoeth right there. He is going to go down. Over here, it looks like Richard is still pursuing some of these Doomdiver Catapults with his Dread Spears. But that's it, guys. That's all there was. Excuse me, guys. I've been having a terrible cough lately. That's all there is to this match, though, guys. Richard is going to just barely eke away, which is like a total of 23 Dark Elves left on the field. And just look at all the carnage. Look at just all of these dead bodies. Just tons of Orcs and Dark Elves over here. Just a lot of these Kislevite soldiers over in this line. Just death everywhere all over this field. This was an amazing free-for-all battle. I want to thank Spyfly for sending this one in. It was definitely a lot of fun to watch. Let's take a look at the kill count here, guys. Spyfly had 1,100 troops. He got away with 1,167 kills. Richard had the most amount of... Actually, no, Gojira had the most... Oh, no, I don't know. Tom had the most amount of troops. I don't know what I'm talking about. Richard had 1,300 units. He had the most amount of kills at 1,200 units. Gojira had 1,400 guys. He got 1,043 kills. Tom Doof had 1,812. And he got 875 kills, and then Consul finally, with the teeniest army of them all, getting 359 kills and getting 707 I'm sorry, guys, 355 units, or soldiers, and getting 707 kills. Let's take a look at Spyfly's kills. He got a pretty good amount of kills with his Tsar Guard, considering they didn't last that long. His Sons of Ursun really didn't too well. They got really just destroyed by those Night Goblins early on. His Ice Mages did extremely well at 210. That's kind of what you want to see for those mage units. Just really high numbers if you can. Kreml Guard, excuse me, guys. The Kreml Guard did very well also. 151, 151, and 192. And we scroll down a little bit farther. Kislev Halberdiers did pretty good too at 90. Alright guys, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you guys have a great day, and if you're interested in getting in on these battles and playing with us, please join the Warhammer Week Discord. It's in the description below, and you guys are always welcome to come in there and hang out with us. Anyway guys, that's all I got for y'all today. I hope you guys have a great one, and I will see you very soon.